What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'll be checking Guardians of the Galaxy on Xbox Series X. Now this game launched a couple of weeks ago and it's a really good game, to be honest with you. I mean, I've been playing this game for a number of hours now and I'm really enjoying it thoroughly. I don't know, maybe I'll even make a review at some point in the future, but right now all I want to check is the graphics performance, because recently this game got an update like 2 or 3 days ago. Initially, the game launched with two modes, performance and resolution mode, and now we've got additional one, ray tracing mode. Generally speaking, the game looks very good. You know, the texture work, the character models, I mean, all the kind of particle effects and everything looks very nice. I must say that it's one of the better looking games, even on next gen consoles. And obviously, when it comes to these options, like I said, if you go to settings and video, right now the game is running at ray tracing mode. So obviously, you know, with ray tracing mode, you've got all the reflections in the water and all sort of reflective surfaces, right? And I think that that's pretty much it when it comes to the differences, because I will actually switch to the quality mode in a minute. And to be honest with you, other than obviously reflections in these puddles and water and that kind of stuff, there isn't really much of a difference, right? Now, when it comes to resolution, I've heard that if the resolution drops to 1440p, it's still 30 frames per second. But when it comes to resolution, I don't really see much of a difference between ray tracing and resolution mode. So now, I mean, quality mode it's called. Now I switch to quality mode. And I mean, yeah, I mean, graphics is a little bit more sharper, right? But it's not really like a massive difference, right? So the game looks a little bit better when it comes to the actual resolution. It's just much sharper. Not sure if the quality of graphics per se changes, because I don't see any, you know, differences when it comes to like foliage density and that kind of stuff. Let's switch back to ray tracing mode again. Yeah, I mean, I don't see much of a difference. I think the only difference in terms of graphics is the resolution. So obviously when you've got a little bit lower resolution, you know, the details are not as crisp as in like, you know, full flat 4K. So let's go back to the quality mode again and check these reflections, because obviously the reflections, I mean, reflections still look good. I mean, not everything is reflected and stuff, right? But yeah, so the only difference is really these reflections. As you can see. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to quality mode for a minute, ray tracing mode for a minute again. Yeah, so now like the stuff up there is being reflected in the water, while before it wasn't. Like this blue thing, blue plant, or however you want to call it. If we go back to quality mode, that will probably disappear. There we go, it's not there, it's not here. So obviously the reflections, that, you know, that only affects reflections. But guys, I mean, there's not much of these reflective surfaces anyway, so I don't really see much of a difference. And to be honest with you, if I were to play, and you know, for the most part, like 95% of the game, because I did play with these modes a little bit here and there, but really the best way to play this game is in performance mode. And I know that it's, you know, it's 1080p. Let's check the performance mode, and you will see straight away that the, you know, graphics is not as detailed, because, you know, everything is a bit blurry. It's not like it looks bad. No, don't get me wrong. but you know, it's so much it's fluid stuff, right? I mean, but the thing is, like, you know, like when you play at 1080p, people say, oh, you know, who cares about the resolution, that kind of stuff. But you see a difference, and it's not like, hey, 1080p makes game unplayable or nothing like that, but you know, you see a little bit of shimmering here and there, especially on, like, you know, hair or small details like the grass and ice. It's on top of that, it seems like there is a little bit of pop-in. Like, look at here. If I move back and forth, you can see the grass changing LOD, right? So level of details. Let's check just for the fun sake. Let's check quality mode. Yeah, I mean there's no pop in here, right? So clearly, I mean, I don't want to say that there's no pop in at all, but it's not as severe as in performance mode. So, you know, well, something has to give, and this is why when I hear people, oh, 1080p, it's fine. Well, maybe it's fine, but you know, I still think that this game is not really well optimized, because I mean, let's face it, you know, these next-gen systems should be capable of like pulling off like 1440p. Let's check ray tracing mode again. 1440p, and yeah, in ray tracing mode there's no pop-in either. Well, at least when it comes to, you know, because initially I thought that these tubes are kind of pop-in, but they just it's not pop-in, they just move a little bit in the game. So so yeah, anyway, well, at least it seems like they seem to be moving. Or no, that's a little bit of a LOD change as well, I think. Yeah, so no, they do move. Okay, yeah, so that's not popping. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, like, if they like look at the ray tracing, right? Ray tracing mode looks fantastic because it's 1440p. It's still sharp, not as sharp as quality mode, but great. No popping almost at all. You know, reflections, yeah, reflections are cool, but what if instead of putting, you know, applying ray tracing, what if they just allowed or pushed the resolution in performance mode to 1440p? So in my opinion, in this game, and I played this game on PC a little bit as well, so 1440p high settings, no ray tracing is like the sweet spot, because the game looks great, then runs great as well. So it's just like, you know, that's the way to go. And this is yet another example which, when I hear that, oh, you know, the why would anyone want even more powerful, like PlayStation 5 Pro or Xbox Series X Pro or whatever, right, in like 3-4 years from now? You know, these games going to become even more demanding, and you know, at some point you will have these games running at 1080p 60 frames per second quite often, and then, you know, like, do we really want to go and play these games at 1080p? I mean, it's not a big deal when you play on PC on a small monitor, like 24 inch 1080p monitor. This game looks good even in 1080p, right? But when you try to play these games at like big 55 inch TV or even bigger at 1080p, well, you know, that just doesn't look great. I mean, I'm not saying that it looks bad or anything, just not great. I mean, let's check. Oh shit, sorry, wrong setting. If we go back to, let's go to quality mode. Everything is nice and crisp. Yeah, it's 30 frames per second, which is a shame. But everything is nice and crisp, sharp. Yeah, you can see all the smallest details. That's the thing, right? Like when it comes to like foliage, for example, or like these small objects far in the distance, like these rocks and stuff, you can see all the bumps and everything, right? It's everything is sharp and nice. You can, you appreciate these small details in 4K, high resolution general. And then you go back to 1080p and it's a little bit of a blurry mess basically, right? So performance mode, there we go, 1080p. And it's just like, yeah, these textures just lose details. It is what it is. Everything is kind of a blurry a little bit. But then you get the performance, and performance is great. And then you get a pop-in as well. And I know I hate pop-in. Sorry guys. Like I've been bragging about pop-in for a long time. I even complained about pop-in in Forza Horizon 5, which is, well, it's just like not great, at least in performance mode. Quality mode in Forza Horizon 5 is not too bad. There's still a little bit of pop-in, but it's not as bad. But yeah. So guys, if I don't know which one to go with. I mean, I still would probably play performance for the most part because it's just super smooth and it's just more fun to play. But shame it's at 1080p. They could have made it like dynamic 1440p or dynamic 4K. Who cares, right? I mean, depending on the scene and that kind of stuff. So at least we would get a little bit of sharper image, but yeah, it's just locked to 1080p. So guys, that's the video. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for support. Really appreciate it. I would really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel, support the channel, share the videos if you can on social media and that kind of stuff. I'll be making way more videos like that in the future, of course. And stay safe, stay happy, play some games, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.